Hello everyone, Christina Werner here. Welcome to day 12 of the holiday card series for 2025. This is the very last video for this year. I don't think it'll be my last holiday card that I make just because I'm going to take some time off from work crafting and I really want to make some more holiday cards on my own, which is weird. It's probably because my holiday card series was cut short this year, so I don't feel like I made enough holiday cards. So I'll just start for next year. For this 12th card, I thought it would be really nice to create a watercolor card, and I wanted to have a nice wide margin around the actual center area that I'm painting. So I just used the width of my masking tape to mask off all of that area. So I masked off the tape and then beyond that as well. I'm using the Graceful Holiday Greetings stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. This is one that I designed for them many years ago. I think it's sold out at the moment. I'm not sure if they're going to be restocking it, but just a small Merry Christmas greeting here at the bottom. That's basically what I was looking for. And I wanted to place the stamp on the watercolor paper in advance of doing all of my painting because I wanted to get the spacing right. My idea for this card was a very simple Christmas tree with different shades of green and then a little bit of white gouache on the tree itself to add decoration. I'm using my Mijello Mission Gold watercolor paints for this card, and I'm going to start off by doing a very light golden brown wash over that area. And I just had it in my head that I wanted to create a card where it had that big white border, and then the area in the center had a very pale color, creating the rectangle where the painting would be. So I had little bits of dust, or I don't even know what it was, but it was probably stuck on my brush and it got into this very flat wash. So I had to kind of pick it off with the corner of my brush. I wasn't sure if it would actually pick up or not, but eventually it did. Generally, when you're doing very flat washes like this, it's hard to get it really, really flat, but thankfully this time it worked. So I hit that with my heat tool until it dried, and it did dry back a little bit, which is perfect. And then I started to paint my tree. So I started with a very pale green shade, and then I'm going to progressively get darker and darker greens as I paint the tree. After I've dried the tree, I'll be painting with white gouache. I'll be adding some little white dots for lights or strands of decorations. And I'm going to speed up the video footage so you can enjoy the painting. how that big white border ended up. And I'm really pleased with this tree. I just think it's so whimsical and really, really cute. So now I'm going to take my painting and do the greeting that I had planned before. I've put my project inside my Misty stamp positioning tool, and then I'm going to be stamping the greeting stamp in a gold pigment ink. I plan to do some gold embossing powder, so just recently I've started just stamping in gold pigment ink. Why not? So you can kind of see it, make sure everything is stamped. So I'm using solid gold from Lisa Horton for my ink, and I just stamped that twice until I got a really good impression. And then I sprinkled on some gilded embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. And I'm going to tap that off, try to get any of the excess powder off, and then hit it with my heat tool. Now, you could call this card done at this point, not add anything else to it, but then I decided that it might look really nice with a thin gold frame around the outer edge. So after I adhere it to my card, I'm going to work on that thin frame. In order to adhere this to the card itself, I'm using some really wide tape from Altenew. This is going to add quite a bit of adhesive to the back of my watercolor panel. Now, generally when I adhere watercolor panels to card fronts, I like to pop it up on foam tape, even if it's edge to edge, because the foam tape is really sticky and it holds it to the card base and it gets rid of any warping. But because I didn't do that this time, it was just a tiny bit warped just in one bottom corner. So I tried to kind of bend it back so that it was more flat. I used my more thin frames die set to cut out an A7 thin frame. And then I used the middle piece that was cut out when I cut the frame and a little bit of Easy C tape. It's a very low tack tape. And I'm just holding that in place while I adhere the very thin frame to the outer edge. If you've never used one of these thin frames before, they're a little bit hard to get on your card straight and have it not be warped and whatever. So I find that having the inside of the frame as a guide really works well. So I just temporarily adhered that to my card front just long enough to add that line of glue around the outer edge and press that thin frame down onto my project. And then I was able to pop up that inner piece and remove it. So here's the finished card for today. And like I said, it was a little warped. So I did put some paperweights on it for a little bit. In fact, I left them on the card overnight and that seemed to do the trick. So here's the card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this year's holiday card series. I'm going to take a little bit of time and spend it with friends and family over the holidays. So I will be back creating more cards here at YouTube in the new year. So I hope you'll come back. I think in January, I'm going to be focusing on mailing and envelopes and just trying to get those cards in the mail. So I hope you'll come back and join me. Kind of take that challenge to send out more cards in 2026. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a very happy holidays, and I'll see you guys next time.